Welcome aboard, proctors, to another round of state testing. Before we embark, please pay close attention to the safety directions and the agreement to maintain test security and confidentiality for test administrators. Test security is essential to obtain reliable and valid scores for accountability purposes. Accordingly, the South Carolina Department of Education must take every step to assure the security and confidentiality of the state test materials. District test coordinators and school test coordinators must provide appropriate training for all personnel involved in testing so that they have a common understanding of test security and appropriate testing practices. School test coordinators must review test security policies and procedures with all test administrators, monitors, and any other personnel in the school who will be handling test materials. The Test Coordinator Manual for each assessment program provides detailed test security information and administration guidelines. The Test Coordinator Manual and/or other appropriate instructions must be distributed to testing personnel as soon as possible before the testing window, so that the test administrators have the opportunity to read the Test Coordinator Manual and become familiar with the test security laws, regulations, and procedures, as well as their responsibility within the classroom. I acknowledge that I will have access to one or more of the following tests that are part of the South Carolina statewide assessment program: Cognitive Abilities Test, Iowa Assessments, and the South Carolina Performance Task Assessments. I acknowledge that I have the responsibility to read all sections of the Test Coordinator Manual prior to the testing window. I acknowledge that I have the responsibility to read the directions for administrations prior to the testing window. I acknowledge that I have read the test security laws, regulations, and procedures and other appropriate information provided to me regarding test security and my testing responsibilities. I acknowledge that I have received training regarding the administration of statewide assessment. I further acknowledge that the training included a discussion of test security policies and test administrative procedures as outlined in the Test Coordinator Manual. I acknowledge that it is my responsibility as a test administrator to follow all updated state laws and Office of Assessment regulations regarding testing ethics and test security. I acknowledge that it is my responsibility to follow all the testing procedures as outlined in the Test Administration Manual and other documents that may be provided to me by the South Carolina Department of Education. I understand that tests are secure, confidential, and proprietary documents owned by the South Carolina Department of Education. I hereby agree that I will not discuss, disseminate, describe, or otherwise reveal the contents of the test to anyone. I will not give examinees access to test questions prior to testing or make answer keys available to examinees. I will not coach examinees during testing or alter or interfere with examinees' response in any way. I will not keep, copy, or reproduce in any manner inconsistent with the instructions provided by or through the South Carolina Department of Education any part of my secure test materials, including tests, test questions, test content, oral administration scripts, and examinees' responses. I will return all secure test materials, including but not limited to test booklets, answer documents, directions for administration, etc., to the STC or to the DTC as appropriate. I will not participate in direct, aid, counsel, assist in, encourage, or fail to report any of the acts prohibited in the test security laws or this affidavit. I understand failure to follow these laws, regulations, or procedures could result in action being taken against my certificate and/or criminal prosecution.
If you agree to this, please sign and date the Security and Confidentiality Agreement. and turn into the proper place. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy this round of state testing.